English Standard 5. Story writing. Today I'll be explaining you all how to write a story. Creating a story using a specific list of words takes not only imagination but also skill. Whether for a class assignment, writing challenge, or improvisational game, this tests the true ability of a writer to build a story based on unrelated word choices. Essentially, this task tells how effective you are as a communicator and help you learn to be a good writer. The strength of a writer can be measured in the power of his words. This is determined by word choice. Simply put, extra words take away from your story or message. Weigh your words carefully, or the weight of your story becomes too heavy to carry its meaning. You have to follow certain rules while writing a story. When you write a story, you must remember some points, some important rules. A good story should have the following characteristics. The story should have a beginning, middle, and an end. It has characters who are involved in the action of the story. It has a plot or some interesting action. We use past tense. Always remember we use past tense to write a story. We can use direct speech, interjections, expressions, and contractions in a story. And the last part is a story should be given a suitable title. First, a title has to be given, then your story, and then the moral of the story. So, first, while writing a story, you have to select a characters like magician. If you are choosing a characters as a magician or as a dog or any a schoolgirl or a scientist, schoolboy or a superhero, mouse, robot, like whatever characters you want to select, you have to first select the characters for your story. Then the characteristics about the characters, whether a magician is a wicked or a magician is a kind or a dog is a cunning, a dog is an honest, like that characters you have to select from the given chart. The next is what type of a story you want to write, whether you want to write a fairy tale or a story or a fantasy or a mystery or an adventure. You have to select your type of a story. After selecting the type of a story, you have to select about the time, whether when if you're writing about a fairy tale, if your story is about a fairy tale, so it should be in the time of the caveman, or you have to write certain things like this. Suppose for you're taking a fantasy story, so it begins with once upon a time, or an adventure. A story type is an adventure, so 1000 to 500 years ago, like the start. Okay, now when your story type is done, the time is done, so then you have to select about the place, about the fairy tale is the fairy tale is from your which city or which town or from which village the story is about, or another, if you are taking about the adventure of a hill or a fort, or on which island. So this places is given, time is given, and what story type is given. So you have to, according to this, you have to select your story and its time and the places. So children, here is one story given. Develop a story from the given words. So you have to develop a story from the given words. The words will be given and you have to develop a story. So for that story, you have to first give a suitable title. Then you have to write the main story in three parts and the moral of the story. So first one is done for you. You just have to write it in your fair notebook. What is the topic of my story? The topic of the story is The Honest Woodcutter. So about woodcutter, if I'm writing about the woodcutter, the honest woodcutter. So my story begins like, long ago there lived a woodcutter in a small village. I'm talking about a village. So this woodcutter lives where? In a small village. He was sincere in his work and very honest. Every day he set out into the nearby forest to cut trees. He brought the woods back into the village and sold them out to a merchant and earned his money. He earned just about enough to make a living, but he was satisfied with his simple living. One day, while cutting a tree near a river, his axe slipped out of his hand and fell into the river. The river was so deep he could not even think to retrieve it on his own. He only had one axe, which was gone into the river. He became very worried, thinking how he will be able to earn his living now. He was very sad and prayed to the goddess. He prayed sincerely, so the goddess appeared in front of him and asked him, "What is the problem, my son?" The woodcutter explained the problem and requested the goddess to get his axe back. The goddess put her hand deep into the river and took out a silver axe and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter looked at the axe and said, "No." So the goddess put her hand back deep into the water again and showed a golden axe and asked, "Is this your axe?" The woodcutter looked at the axe and said, "No." The goddess said, "Take a look again, son. This is a very valuable golden axe. Are you sure this is not yours?" The woodcutter said, "No, it's not mine. I cannot cut the trees with a golden axe. It's not useful for me." The goddess smiled and finally put her hand into the water again and took out his iron axe and asked, "Is this your axe?" To this the woodcutter said, "Yes, this is mine. Thank you." The goddess was very impressed with his honesty, so she gave him his iron axe and also other two axes as a reward for his honesty. So, children, the moral of the story is what? Always be honest. Honesty is always rewarded. Honesty is always rewarded. So, this is a type of one story. So, I have done one story for you. You have to just copy it done in your fair book. The other one, you have to prepare your own story and write it in your rough book. First, you have to make it rough and then copy it in your fair notebook. This is the story. Develop a story from the given words. For this story, you have to give first a suitable title, then you have to write a story, and then moral for the story. The given words are poor farmer, hen, golden egg, rich man, greedy. So these are the words which are given to you. From these words, you have to develop a story. Thank you.